Okay, I'm gonna spend some time on JavaScript today, but before I do, I wanna recap a little bit where we stopped in the previous video, where I have bound attached the Django query set to a Postgres materialized view. Why did I choose to use a materialized view instead of just using a Django query set, making a query set in Django API query set? Why did I choose to use a materialized view? I chose to use a materialized view because I wanted to speed up a read, plus the fact that the materialized view cached your view on Postgres. It's gonna make it a little bit faster to reach the query set on Django, and on the query set we're just gonna have a read, and that way we're gonna have a more increase a little bit of performance on read, since a bunch of users will be querying in aggregates of different tables. But today I'm gonna spend time on JavaScript, but before I do, I wanna recap and show where we stopped. While I was live trying to attach the materialized view, of course I lost connection, and I had to recreate another video, catch up on that, fix the ID issue. But we did this is where we're testing that the materialized view is attached to Django querySet. Where is the view? And that is the view, and the view will be a little bit with the polymorphism, or a little bit generic. I'm using Django view to refer to a Django router, and I'll be using a view as a Postgres view. Both of them use the same, so the view will be polymorphism, view in Django, view in Postgres. But let me not call this one a view, I'll call that a router. So I'm creating a read-only router in Django, and of course this router need authentication. We have a serialized class which is linked to the model, and the model loads data from our view, and this is the name of our view, author certificate. The view that retrieve the count verify, count pending. Count verify refers to the number of application that has been submitted, completed, which means the application may not be, the verification may not be truthful, meaning this application may not pass, may be declined, maybe, oh no, that's not the result of application. I mean this particular title, right? This title maybe, let's say, cancel or revoked. That's the correct legal word. This title may be revoked, and I'm now using the concept used in the United States. I don't know, I know a little bit, but I'll be using the concept where the application will be deployed. But we got pending, we got verified, and of course the application number and the owner ID. That's the way we've attached our model to the view, to the Django view or the Django router. This one, and as you can notice, I've commented this piece of code out. What does it do? What does this piece of code do? So I'm using the initial method, which is the first method that is called when you are using your Django view. I mean, the word view will be really with a lot of a polymorphism here. So view, Django view, Postgres view. Let me use Django router. So in Django router, if you send a request on a particular URL, the initial method is run the first. So what I'm doing, I'm opening a connection or using the current connection we have on the thread, and I'm creating a transactional statement, a SQL transaction statement. Boo. I refresh a materialized view before going further on our transaction. But I thought this now, in development makes sense. I have to refresh before, but in production, please don't do this. You're going to create a saga. You're going to create, yeah, don't do this. I was just trying something. Or you can do that. If you decide to do that, don't use initial. You can use, let me look at this. You can use dispatch. You can still use, use dispatch. So you can cache dispatch with the method decorator, right? Instead of doing initial, we can do dispatch. I don't know, dispatch is further down. Yeah, we can use this dispatch. I think dispatch run after it's already get the data. It's ready to send the response. Yeah, either way, I don't think it's a good idea. You can try to cache the initial, because the caching, if you're using caching, the caching is based on the URL. So you can try to do this. And I'm freestyle coding here. I have not tested that on production. You can do 120 second, which is gonna be in every 2. Let's say our URL is this is our URL, luckily, right? So let's say this is our URL. This is our URL, and the user ID is number 2. Every 2 minutes, our cache will run this one, will run the initial. So in the first term, the cache will recognize that, oh, the URL ID 2 is just, I just run some, some code on initial, and after 2 minutes, it's gonna run it again. Well, this is just an assumption. Theoretically, since the URL the default caching is based on the URL. It's gonna cache each one of the user. Every 2 minutes, they will be able to refresh the materialized view. But you can copy that and see what you can, but don't do that now. We're not gonna do that. So what I was saying is that we were able to bind the materialized view from Postgres to the Django router, or I can say Django read-only view, which is a router. And that's where we were able to do this testing. Unfortunately, when you are doing testing on Django, Django does not copy. It does not copy the materialized view on the testing database. So we are expecting, if we are using the user from our test database, we're gonna get the no or auth certificate view. So that's why this is the expected value. But if we do something like this, if I use for me to get the correct data, I have to use I'm gonna explain more about this, but if I wanna, since I'm using a fixture to make sure that this test will pass with the correct data, we have to export data on fixture. We have to export what is the model? So we gotta export this model, right? The auth certificate view, export that as a fixture. We load that on the test, and then we test that, because the test database doesn't copy the view. Maybe in the future Django will be able to do that. As of now, it doesn't do that, so we're expecting the no results. Okay, now we're gonna spend time with the Reactjs on Nextjs framework that I'm using. So let's go use we need to use these endpoints, right? Let me print it. Oh, I know the name of the URL. This is the name of the URL. We can just copy it. And let's go back on front end. Okay. Where is our common components? This is our common component certificate, which is a certificate. Yeah, so we need to make this part dynamic. The number of completed application and the number for the application that is pending. So this is what we're gonna spend our time, our couple minutes. God knows how many minutes I'll spend working on this. But without further ado, let's do it. Let's go. Okay. What are we gonna do? We need a default, since we are referring to a streaming component. We need a default we need a default value before this number is displayed. A default value will be a loader or some text. If we need a default value, we're gonna do something like this. Let's import a suspense input, suspense from React. Okay. What is? We are going to use suspense, but before we use suspense, I feel like my finger is heavy. I'm having something on the clipboard, so let me paste it so I can breathe out. Okay, that's the thing that I was feeling on my finger. Actually, I was not feeling that on my finger. My brain felt like there's something on the clipboard I didn't paste. That's the URL. Of course, the ID will be dynamic. What am I gonna do here? I need to okay, this gonna return. Let's comment all this out. This going to return suspense. And we are going to create a function. I'm gonna refactor that letter. We're going to create a function name, a component name, display of certificates. That's loud. Yeah, display app status. Display title status. Okay. It's gonna take a styles. And it's gonna retain this guy. It's going to retain this guy. What am I doing? We can just copy, cut, paste, remove comments. Let's make it look a little bit beautiful. I mean clean, but not beautiful. Okay. Can create a fallback. Let's just make a fallback. Actually, the fallback would be the default. Yeah, the fallback has to be a div. So while this is loading data, we want to make sure that we can say something like loading, but of course I don't have to write loading chargement, which means loading in French, and then we pass our display status. Display status will take in a style. Equal style. I mean, I can just, yeah, it's okay. Oh, components have to start with a capital letter. Okay. It's not gonna take in only the style, it's also gonna take our let's see where we can call that. We have the URL here. Let's see. Where am I? This is common feature. What am I doing? I have to reuse something. I have to reuse let's see, application. Until export create message. Okay, no. I'm looking for where I'm constructing the requests on the front ends. I have a features here. I have some reusable code. Oh, it should be on the share. It should be somewhere. Share util. No, these are global share. No, it should be somewhere. It should be here, right? Nope. Okay, handle action. It should be here on the handle action. I may reuse this guy. Get record. So I'm gonna get record takes in a URL. So this function is reusable. It takes in a URL. What is takes in media type. I mean the default media type for our for the materialized view. If not, what is the correct name I can call that? Let's just call it materialized view or auth view. The default media type is JSON, but it's not a typical JSON. Oh, it's JSON. It's just application JSON. Let's see. Let me see if I modify that. Backend. Let's see the view. Yeah, so the only thing that is a custom, we have custom the version class, but we didn't custom the default media type. So the default media type will be JSON, application JSON. It's not a vendor JSON. So no further, customization on the media type. Let's go back. The flag that could only, I've used this flag to apply minimization. Yeah, I was using minimization, data minimization. But I can, is cached. Yeah, I think I can use this guy, get records. So let's copy get record, go back our common future, imports, import get records. Okay, from handle action, what are we gonna do? So we are going to get our record here. Let's name the constant all. App statuses. Oh, yeah. Auth. I think this is the word that makes sense for me. Auth certificates. Auth certificates just means authenticated certificates. And the authentication here does not refer to logging authentication. Credential authentication. Now, the authentication just means verification. Boom. Get record. But we need to build the URL, right? So constant URL will be, also we need to get the ID of the user. Where are we gonna get the ID of the user? I'm exposing that somewhere. Let's see if I'm exposing the because I can do this. Let's go back to application, handle action. Where am I getting the ID of the user? Am I even exposing the ID of the user when the user logged in? No, I don't think I'm doing that, but let's see what I can do. I don't think let's go back on the backend and see what's happening on the backend when the user logged in. Is it a way where we're exposing our user ID, owner, authenticated, user login, I don't think we are sending the user ID. So when the user logged in, we are not sending their ID. this is where the user logged in. We need to send their ID right here. Yeah, we need to send their ID right here. Why? So that we might be able to do that here, because we want to get only record relating to this logged in user. So we don't want to get all the record for all the users. So this piece of information, this ID, this one, need to exist on the front end. I'm going to expose some magic I'm doing behind. Well, it's not magic, some collision, okay, secrecy, whatever, but hey, who cares? I may modify that. Okay, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Let's go back to the backend side and see what's happening on the backend. So we are now exposing the user ID. We need to send the user ID. To send it, user ID gonna be instance ID. Okay, see, that's the way backend always takes precedence, comes first before the front end. You see, just a missing piece of information in the backend does not enable the front end to function as expected. Okay, let's go back to the testing. You see, my intention was just to work on the front end, but I didn't know that a piece of information missing on the back end will send me back to the front end. Anyway, let's continue. Now we need to go on the test. Where we're doing the logging. Where are we doing the logging? Logging. Yeah, test logging for non-confirmed user, test logging. Let's I don't want a conjunction on front end that I'll be getting the ID. I have to make sure that I'm getting the ID from the back end, so that by the time I get back to the front end, I will know that the user, the logging, post logging for non-confirmed. This is a fail. This is a logout. I think this is the test where I have to modify tag equal test logging. test user logged in. Okay, let's comment these section out. Just print response JSON so we can see what are we getting when we test. Test tag equal test user login. Oh, this is for confirming when the user, the way I designed the authentication components of this application is that when the user creates an account, they first need to confirm the accounts before they start logging. So this was just for confirmation. What is the logging? What is the actual logging? Get on a dashboard. I don't have any logged in. Really? If I didn't test logging, that would be get contacts, get create, get co-owner full name. This is the confirmation. This is not the login. This is the login. But with the this is the login with the yeah, mind your business here. You might be wondering, well, why didn't you just pass a string on the username and password? Wrong, don't do that. On their way to your database, somebody will catch them. There are already systems out there. Their sole purpose is to catch. You'll be like, oh, well, that's why we use HTTPS. No, forget about that. This is where the logging is happening. Let me try to I don't have a login user. This is to register. This is to register. This is a helper. Test send recovery. This is to send recovery. This is to reset password. No way. I can't believe I did that. I didn't do that. Okay, let's do that. Test post logged owner logged or confirm owner. Okay, so let's make sure this one passed. How many users we have? We have 2 users. We have user chat, make password. We have make is password. What is security? Password has been set. What is we are going to confirm user number 1. Okay, we're gonna make owner number 1. You see, that's why sometimes you just have to do a pre-recorded. I was thinking about doing streaming, spending time on the front end, but I have to go back on the back end. So what am I gonna do here? CLS, oh no, confirm user 1. Okay, we got confirming CLS dot user 1 equal to owner 0 is confirmed. Oh no. Oh yeah. How am I gonna do that? Oh, it's simple. It's simple. We don't have to do that here. We are going to do right here. Set user 1 is confirm equal to true, and then save user 1 save. Why? Because the user 1 is still a model instance, so we can save that. Let's just print to make sure that everything prints self user 1, print him as a dictionary. Crazy. Only the ID that's, and you know, because I didn't need the ID. Why should I send the ID back? You see, that shows that my my REST API is really well designed, because when the user logged in, you don't want to send their ID back. Why would you send their whole object? That's bad. So every time the user logged in, I'm not sending the ID. I'm just sending whatever I need. Do I need the username? Maybe I'm gonna use that. I send that back. Do I need email? Maybe. If not, don't send it back. And if you want to know more about data minimization or recommendation for WW from the W3C consortium, let me find the link for you. That's I was reading a document from this is the link. Before I share it, data minimization. It's a long doc. It's not long. It's a good document. So yeah, check out this documentation from W3C on API minimization, which recommend in this documentation, the W3C recommend that you only expose data that are needed for that particular functionality. Do not just expose in your API, expose all the data, because the default Django model view expose everything from the object. Like in this instance, you see, like in this one, home business profile, you will think that because I'm using Django model view, I'm exposing everything from the business profile. I'm not doing that. I'm only expose what is needed. If we go back, you see, I'm only exposing the contacts and the account number. So I'm doing a data minimization on the serializer instead of doing that on, well, the best way to do that. You can do that on the serializer, or you can, whatever, in the router. Anyway, let's go back. So that's the URL you need to check. Okay, let's see what we're getting back here. See, it's long. See, it's even sending the password back. Oh, because I'm printing the object. So what I need to check is confirm the flag. Is confirm is true. So the user is confirmed. As you can see, our user is confirmed. If the user is confirmed, it will be able to log in. So let's cut this. I'll keep the URL for that API minimization right here. Okay, so we confirm our user, and then we are going to use the same payload, but we're gonna change username and password. What is the name of the username? Jat. His password is pass test. Username Jat, password pass test. Response equal self client post self owner login URL payload formats JSON. I think I'm gonna end up changing the title of this live, because that's not supposed to do. But anyway, let's print the response, see if the user is logged in. Response JSON. We are all doing this because of the ID of the user we need to send back. Oh, it says user is not confirmed. Why? Why are you saying that? Oh, yeah, the user is confirmed. Say user is not confirmed. I just confirmed the user. What are you talking about? Oh, see. You know what? I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. Not really cheating. I'm just gonna change the confirmation. I'm just changing it right here. Okay. Yeah. Is confirmed. True. Okay. Let's try. Wait, what? What is the user I'm using? Oh, I'm using the second user. Oh, so I was right. I was right. Let's go back. Pam 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 pam. Pam 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 pam. So I was right. This Jat is not the first user. The first user is Madzi and test word. Madzi test word. So I think it was fine. We can modify the instance as long as the instance, the connection still exists here. Okay, so we got the username, we got owner. I don't see the ID. What is the ID? Username, account type. I do not see the ID. Where did I modify the ID? Account number. It looks like mouths happening right here. Is it the correct one I'm using? Account type. No, this is not the one that I'm supposed to use. I have to go back on the view. Login. Oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to pass the user ID. See, this is the way you do minimization. ID, so my response is well crafted in such a way that are only fields and data that I need that I have to send. If I don't need that, ID. But even if I pass the ID here, if the ID doesn't exist if the ID doesn't exist here, it's not gonna send back. Let's see that. Let's see, so you can, okay, I ask the ID here, but if I do test again, see, say context ID, keyword ID does not exist because it does not exist here. Okay, so it should match from the serializer to the response. If the serializer is not exposing that particular field, there is no way you can find it. And yeah, and we have our ID. Yeah, you might be wondering, but why are you making it so complicated? You know, as I'm building this application, I have 3 ads. You know, 1 ad is that color, the other ad is that color, and the other one is that color too. So, and I know I'm not the one that build a Django framework. Django framework might have some vulnerability that nobody knows. Only them and some folks, they know that. So, but I don't care. But I'm doing my best to protect this application, you know, however I can, and whatever I can do to make it, you know, just not just create this. This is gonna be a public facing application. You know, I have to make sure that it's well secure. Okay, so we got our ID, and then this test will pass because this is what's okay, cool. Now what are we gonna do? We're just gonna make sure that self-assert. We're just gonna make sure that JSON is instance of response JSON user ID int. Okay, we want to make sure that the user ID is an instance of integer. But I'm gonna tweak it later so that I cannot just send the ID like this, right? But even if someone has an ID, if they don't know how to use it, how are they gonna use that? Okay, so it doesn't matter. It's just gonna be an ID. I could round it so it can be some random, and then you know, extract it on the front end. But hey, let's leave it the way it is for now. Okay, it works. So we want to make sure the ID will be an int. Now that we know we'll be receiving an ID, let me go back on the front end. Let's test everything before we move from here to the front end. Let's make sure that all the tests are passing. at least whatever we've tested so far. Okay, cool. That's now back to the front end, and we were looking for the ID. We want to receive the ID from the parent somewhere. Where are we using the certificate status? We are using it somewhere on the application, on the dashboard. So we're using it on common features. You know what? I could also use this. I could also use this on common features. No. If I want to get the aggregation from common feature, it's gonna run on common feature before passing it to. I want it to stream like each component. Each streaming component has to have its own query own request it's sending to the backend. So it may be decouple instead of putting together, you know, on the common feature. I mean, it doesn't matter. What am I looking for? I'm looking for where this common feature is called. This common feature is called somewhere on dashboard. It's, what is dashboard? Dashboard. Yeah, this is dashboard. Common feature. Yeah, so it should be here on cadastre page. This one is bad. I was just reading security recommendation from Nextjs. It turns out that you don't have to inject your credential like this. I mean, it's not, you know, if it's landing on the... Okay, I'll fix that later, but I know that this is bad. If someone debug the browser, I don't think they would do that. I don't think they can do that. If someone is good, if I'm facing a better experience, what is the word they use? If I'm facing someone that can track, they know how to find bugs, they're probably gonna catch credentials. But oh, I have a user ID. Where am I getting a user ID? Oh, from the other one. I had a user ID. See, I forget that I had a user ID here. So I'm sending a user ID right here on dynamic components. No, this is something else. common feature. This is the common feature. Okay. On a profile, so yeah, profile shorts. So I'm gonna pass it here. You see, I didn't know that I have it. So I'm gonna pass user ID. Let's do this. User ID equal to profile shorts ID. Cool. So what I'm doing, I'm just spreading, right? I'm spreading directly to the components. I'm spreading style and the user ID. Okay, so let's make sure that the user ID should also pass on components. And user ID will go, so yeah, user ID will go on subscription because subscription has to get the user ID too. Oh, it makes sense now. Oh, don't have to do this. Subscription has to make a user ID too. User ID. Okay. Subscription gonna have the user ID components as well. User ID. Okay, so yeah, cool. So let's grab the user ID here. Comment this out, put it on brackets. Oh, it does expect a we don't need URI. Okay, let's make sure that we are getting a user ID console log. User ID. If we already have a user ID, there is no way I can keep that user ID I just exposed on logging. So I have to go back and remove it. But before I do, let's make sure we log the user ID right here. Oh, I just logged out. So my token just expired. So I have to log in back again. Okay, that's the user ID we need. As you can see, it's rendering twice because of this one is a child of a parent component, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's the user ID we need. We spend all this time. How long I've spent just finding a user ID? 1 hour, if not, yeah, 59 minutes finding a user ID. It's okay. Okay, so we need to construct a URL. URL will be, let me see how his URL format should be. His URL format has to be a fully qualified URL. By fully qualified URL, I means it should not just be this path. It should be the fully qualified, I mean the domain, the host, the protocol, the domain, the port if exists, fully qualified URL, right? Or URI, because actually this one is a URL, it's not a URL. Because we need to pass the ID. So to do that, how do we pass the domain? I have a place where I've used passing a domain. We're gonna copy this guy. We're gonna copy all these parts somewhere on the share domain. Yeah, this is where I have all my URL. So what I'm gonna do, owner profile URL, constant recovery, recovery, what should I do? No, auth, let me call that auth certificates, auth certificates, a short word for authenticated certificates, right? Auth certificates URL. Yeah, I know it's long, but it's better to be meaningful than being short without meaning, right? Domain /bow. Okay, we have our URL and we need to expose that. Export, and we're going to import it right here. Import from share domain. Bingo. So we got our URL. The only thing we're gonna pass from this URL is the identification. So this will become plus slash user ID. And then what is the signature of our function? URL, URI, media tab, application JSON, And someone, because he got a lot of view on YouTube, we tell you, you don't need to use abstraction. I don't think abstraction works. And I'll see a lot of people commenting, yeah, I'm sure abstraction doesn't work. Can you see the beauty of abstraction here? You know? Ndaku only is a flag. It has a default value. So the default value of Ndaku only is true. Oh, no, I don't have to pass it. I have to pass it. Yeah, Ndaku only will be false. Where must be true for data minimization. So is cache cannot find name Ndaku only. Yes, of course you can find it. Oh, just pass false. Okay, false. Is cache false? Do not cache it. Okay, so we don't have to cache on the clients because we already caching back in the. We already caching back in with our materialized view, so we don't have to do double caching. We're gonna create a mess. You'll be requesting, waiting for change over and over and over. Okay, so this one it's gonna be in a wearable. Oh, look at me. I'm using Pythonic concept in JavaScript. This one gonna be a promise instead of saying in a wearable. It's gonna be a promise, not in a wearable. Oh, you see the way they play with this concept, right? A promise is in a wearable. If someone promise you something, it's just in a wearable. You gotta wait, right? And the result may be no, and the result may be yes. So this one will be a promise because if we go check our function, let's go find you. What's going on? Yes. It's a async function, so we are waiting for yes, so if okay, we are retaining in a variable. We can wrap it with the use hook. So let's import use import suspense and use from React. Okay, so we wrap it with use and we inject it. But before we do inject it, let's print. Let's console log that. Console log auth certificate. So we can make sure it's working. No, it's not gonna work. Why it's not gonna work? Because the accept media forget record require versioning. Oh yes, we have versioning. Do we have versioning for this endpoint? Yes, we have versioning for this endpoints. How do you know? Let me go back on the backend and see. As you can see here, if we go to our view, no, we are not on owner, we are on property. We are versioning. So see, we are versioning our URL, so we're expecting the versioning on the accept header. If none of you have already watched my video about versioning on accept header in Django REST framework, I can put the link on the description, or just go browse my channel. You find a bunch of video about versioning in Django REST framework. I've spent so much time on Django REST framework that I wouldn't say that I know that inside out, but I'm getting there. Okay, let's go back on the front end. Okay, let's console log this and see if we're getting auth certificate for this particular user. It should work. Why? Because this user 244 has some certificates. Some of them are pending, some of them are approved. Let's go. Okay, I'm not gonna show you my title not found. Why to retain title not found? Let me remove that. Let me put a label here, right? Let's say here, and let's do off certificates so we can make sure that that's what I'm expecting. Yeah, detail title not found. Really? This is not what we need to. This is not what we need to get. We need to get a different response. I don't know why it's getting title not found. Oh, I see. This has to be only JSON because I already passed application. Let's try again. Still. So it's retaining not found. Not found for what? Even me preparing this error title not found, I shouldn't do that. I have to change this. If I want this this function to be universal or be a helper, I have to remove the word title here. Just put not found. Right? I can just make it detail instead of saying title not found because I was using a title just not found, so I can know that I'm right here. to confirm that I'm reaching to the correct one, I can if I want to confirm that I'm reaching the author certificates read only view, I have to return response. Return awaits response JSON, so I can see that message, so I can confirm that I'm reaching on the correct one. I got an error. What did you say? Oh, I'm about to use prints here. Unexpected error. Console log. Awaits response JSON. Let's see what we're getting. Syntax error. Doc type is not a valid JSON. Oh, it's getting a doc type. That's not right. Oh, let's see that. I can see that here on my browser. See exactly what I'm getting. Can't see that. I can't see. Oh, undefined. It's getting undefined. Why it's undefined? Undefined because this is undefined. I have to remove this. Actually, I'm not seeing where this is getting the response. Let's do this. Console log auth certificates. This is bad. I shouldn't do that. Let's go back to. Let's go back using use. Let's make sure it's gonna return. Oh. Location connection errors are expected. Doctor is not validation. It's returning. Something is broken on the back end. Oh, it's not broken, but the response will be. Oh, wait. First of all, what is the URL? Let's first check the URL if the URL is correct. Right, console log. Are we calling the correct URL instead of just trying property count? Oh, you see, this is bad. You see, the URL is not correct. Okay, the URL is correct now. You are calling me, you are calling someone you don't know. How are you gonna call them? Right? I'm calling something with a different phone number. How am I gonna make sure that I'm contacting the right correspondent? Right? Bingo. So we got it. We got accounts verify. We got everything we're supposed to. Yeah, so we got the count verify, or we can say count completed, but I'm just leaving it the way it is. Count pending. So for the user 244, he has a count verify. I think the application does not make sense. The application does not make sense in this case. Why? Because the user can have the result of counting may be deduct from one then more application. So even me using the application in this case does not make sense. It's useless. But hey, that's the way you learn. It's not even about learning like you will make mistake. This application number is useless. The title number, useless as well. Why? Why the title number is useless? Because we may deal with one or more title. We just want to aggregate the number for title that has been applied. The number of, we just want to aggregate. We want to get the aggregate of number of title that has been verified and unverified. Right? So this field title number, application number is useless. Only owner ID and counts are useful, but I'll fix that later. Now let's inject the auth certificates. We're gonna inject that in display. We're gonna inject that here. And if you're not familiar with using the hook use from React, go check it out. Let me find the documentation. Oh, let me Google React use hook. Okay. So this is the documentation to learn more about the React use hook, which takes in as a argument a promise. It's better used when you are using streaming components. So, and yeah, it helps you wrap your promise inside of a non-async function, right? This being a promise, we should make this async, right? But we don't have to use async here. We just use the hook use, which does the magic of extracting only the response from our promise. It really like that's why I've watched a bunch of video on YouTube, people saying don't become a full stack developer, but you can't get better at this job if you're not a full stack developer. I mean, you can be a front-end developer, but if you're a front-end developer, you need to know a little bit of the back-end. And for someone like me who started developing with PHP and MySQL, there is no way I can detach myself from being a full stack developer. I just have to learn from the database, if not from when I wear my black hats, I have to know from the CPU to the application layer. But when I'm just me, a citizen, I have to, just be a full stack developer. Start from the backend, SQL to HTML. Okay, now let's inject this guy. We're gonna inject him here, auth certificates. Boo. So the display status does not recognize auth certificate, so we have to copy and pass it here. What are we expecting? We're expecting the count verify has 0 verify and 0 pending. How do we know that? Oh, why is it making noise? Oh, style is missing. Why? Okay. I think I have to go on common, make everything style. Just make it. Okay. We're just gonna make it style. Okay, let's make it style here so it can be uniform. Okay, is that what you want? Yes, that's what you want. That's okay. Until now, our component is static. So we are going to copy this guy. How many applications are pending? We just pass like this auth dot count pending. It's gonna automatically say how many applications have completed. Auth certificate dot count verify. Bingo. So we got 0 authentic, and of course you guys cannot see the front end, but if you have a little bit of knowledge about the front end and React, you can pretty much know replicates. In the last video, I was able to just show a little bit of Illustrator on the dashboard. Someone emailed me and started yelling at me, so yeah, I don't want to end up that guy that's spend all his energy working on something, and whenever, you know, things happen, people decide we want you to go now, you know. Okay, it works. What's gonna happen if I refresh? I'm not able to view the fallback because it's really fast. So what I need to do, if you are following, you can go to your network, go to your throttling, make your network 3G, so you can make it slower. And when it's slow, the loading will display. In my case, the chargement will be displayed. Okay. No. But you know what I mean. I think the way I did it, I won't be able to see. Let me check. Oh, this was wrong. I shouldn't pass a string here. I should pass the components. Yeah, this was wrong. That's the way I should do that. Yeah.
Dans tes bras, je prends de l'envol. Divana.
Okay. What I need to do, I need to do this. This has to be a div. We're almost done. And that was streaming components. We're gonna do a div. We are going to copy everything. The class name, we're going to copy this one. Copy it. And we're going to pass it right here. No, wrong. We're going to remove this. Let's remove this. Only use suspense. Right? We use suspense and then we pass the class right here. Yeah. So that we did this so that on the suspense, only this guy will be display chargement or loading, right? But do what you can, you know. You have an idea what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, or we could actually, a better way we can use that, we could pass the, it makes sense as long as we are able to get the 0. Let's just confirm that this user to the user, what is the ID of the user again? Let's go down. What is the ID of the user? 244. Yeah, let's just make sure he has 0 pending, 0 verify, and 1 pending. Okay. We need to go back on let's go back on Postgres. Let's go back on Postgres. What are we gonna do? Where are we? We are on the front end. We need to go back on safety.com. Okay. Source, so we can activate our Python. Or yeah, I'm gonna do that with Python. Safety. No. Right? Okay, yeah. Being activate. Activate. Oh. Not CD. I have to use source. Yeah. Pattern, manage, DB shell. Okay, let's describe. In my in my previous video, I say \D was display. It's not display. It stands for describe, because there's no such thing as this display in SQL. Or the concept they use is describe, or the term. Describe auth certificates. And I'm just gonna leave the application number. I'm gonna rewrite that later. The only thing we need in this aggregation or query, yeah, is that query statement? Yeah, it's a query. Yeah, it's a query. Yeah. The only thing we need is count pending and count verify. That's the only. And the owner ID. Owner ID. Count pending and count verify. What else we need to do? So we are going to select all from auth certificate where owner ID equal 244. As you can see, the owner ID has 0 completed and 0. It has 1 pending, and Yeah, this application number does not make sense because I think this application is probably related to one of the title, because one title can only have one application according to my business rules, right? Only one application per title, so there is no way we need the app number here. And even the title number here, it does not make sense. If I could, I can cross it like a boop, 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 boop. Does not make sense. But I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I'll remove that later. Okay, let's conclude this live. I wanted to work on that. What is? Let's select all. Select all from of certificates. Yeah, I think. Yeah, the application number does not make sense. As you can see, this repeatability, you know, we don't need the application number. We only need these three face record, count 35, and okay, I can exit. Let's go back to our front end. Yeah, so that was streaming components in React while we are using our materialized view in Postgres. Yeah, it took me 2 hours to do that. Well, it took me 2 hours because, you know, I'm doing a freestyle coding. I rarely copy and paste when I'm doing my coding. Why? Because I'm not scared of failure. Some people do a video where, you know, they think they have to, you know, make it look perfect, but yeah, I don't believe in perfection. Okay, thank you for watching. This is build for Munzanzi. But before we go, I'm gonna keep enjoying the music in the background for a couple minutes. Okay, bye-bye.
Since you left me in the darkness, gone to someone else.